very hands-on in the Motive Power Techniques program. The students spend at least half of the time in the shops doing actual lab work, and that's supported by the other half of the time doing theory lessons in the classroom.
We have large facility compared to many other colleges, without a doubt. In our lab, we have 7, 8, 9 hoists, 2 drive-on hoists. I said having this amount of space is phenomenal for us.
It's a 1-year, 2-semester program. The first semester is 15 weeks, 717, and the second semester is 17 weeks. Our curriculum is broken up into separate modules. Like for instance, in the first semester, there are 3 main modules. The first module is applied work practices, and we do all of applied work practices over the course of 5 weeks. And then we move on to the second module, which is engines, which they had just started in today. And that's a 5-week module. And then that's followed by electrical fundamentals, which is 4 weeks. And the second semester is similar, but drivetrains, steering, suspension, brakes, another module, electrical, fuel systems, and hydraulics.
So we're just beginning the engine module right now, and maintenance is my first topic. And I said today the students we talked the morning and we spent the afternoon actually putting those practices to use within just a few short hours. So
most students don't realize how much there is to learn when they start in this program. That's the feedback that I get from them by the time they finish, that they really didn't know what they were getting involved in.
It's huge, just huge. What we're going to do in engines is an incredible project because they've never done anything that big. And to be organized enough to remove an engine from a vehicle plus all the related components, and then think you're going to have the ability to put it all back together afterwards, it's such a scary challenge for them. But they complete it. It's cool to watch.
It's in high demand right now. I just got off the phone this afternoon with a couple of shops that are looking for technicians, and they're wanting to come in and talk to our students because they can't find people. And it seems to be a problem all across Northern Ontario right now, probably all of Ontario as far as I know. So it's highly sought after. The students are highly sought after, in my opinion.
Students need to have something to bring to the table. You're not going to walk into our industry right off the street with no knowledge of any kind. And cars are so expensive that nobody wants somebody has absolutely zero experience.
Well, the challenge to getting into an apprenticeship is you have to be able to show a potential employer that you're serious about your future trade. It's a huge investment on their part and your part, but taking a program like the Motive Power Techniques program shows you have some interest in bettering yourself. In fact, it's becoming almost a prerequisite for most employers now to get into an apprenticeship, to have some kind of a Motive Power Techniques program behind you, like a certificate or a diploma.
Right now, there are job opportunities. I drove past Thunder Bay Volkswagen dealership at lunchtime, and they have a big flashing sign now on the road. They're looking to hire some new entry level, tire and lube technician, they call them. But that's your foot in the door. So I encourage my class to try and get an entry level position like that, even while they're here during the school year. Again, just for the experience.
The heavy equipment program is actually kind of different than most of the programs that we have here, because there's basically 2 different trades that this program that I teach leads into. So there's 2 apprenticeships. One is going to be the 310T truck and coach technician. So that's going to be your tractor trailer, heavy truck mechanic, and also a heavy equipment and technician as well, so a 421A. So the course that I teach is kind of geared towards both of those trades. And once you get into those trades, they are quite unique to each other. So we try and give all the students a broad perspective over both of those paths, and hopefully they can make a decision which direction they want to go after the end of the year. So the facilities here, we're kind of blessed with a very large shop. So in the heavy equipment shop, we have a much larger shop than most training facilities will have. So which allows us to bring in multiple pieces of equipment to allow the students to work on them at the same time. So it's kind of nice to be able to bring in 5 trucks for the students to work on at once instead of just one at a time, or even worse, having a larger group of students working on just one piece of machinery. So we're kind of fortunate in that way. The first semester is pretty much the same modules that we go through. So we go through HC 121, which is basically hand tools, learning from familiarization with tools. Second one that we deal with is engines, so both have the same title. We focus more on the diesel engine aspect of the program over on the heavy side, whereas the automotive, of course, they're going to deal with more gasoline-related engines. So they're similar but different. And then we go into electrical level 1 that they go through HC 123 after that, and that is the same for both programs. Once we get into the second semester, then we definitely branch off and do a lot more specialized training in the different aspects of the heavy equipment side. The big problem I deal with every year, especially with this section that I'm dealing with now, is engines. Everybody wants to be fast and wants to impress everybody else about how fast they can do their project. And that's not the goal. The goal is to do things properly, not fast, and that takes a while for any young apprentice. Doesn't matter if it's this program or another, to get past that, to learn that doing the job right is what impresses people, not how fast you are. Well, I think we're a little bit more hands-on. Although I know a lot of the other colleges, they have a little bit more packaged programs where we try and incorporate a little bit more real world. So some of our machines that we'll work on that same machine for all the different modules, and try and give them a little bit more broad idea of what the apprenticeship program actually entails, and hopefully a little bit more general learning, so they're not just more canned and specialized in certain aspects. Out of my students every year, I would say I get about 80% of the students that I have that graduate the program get offered a job at the place that they went to their field placement at, which is a 2-week block that all my students do at the end of the school year. So it's kind of a segue into the working world, where it's part of their training here is where they have to go find themselves a place to work for 2 weeks. And it's a good benefit for the employer as well, because they're looking for potential employees, and what better way to basically do a dry run of a potential employee than to have them work for 2 weeks for you for free with no strings attached. So most of the students, as long as they put forth a good work effort and don't do anything silly while they're there, like I said, 80% I would say get offered a job. The last couple of years, that's the numbers I've been having anyway. So you have to not want it in order to not get offered it.
I'm Alexander Knackers. I'm in Automotive Techniques Heavy Equipment. I chose this program because I was working at a construction site and I saw these really big loaders, and I just thought, that seems super fun to work on, and I just like being hands-on. So right now we are learning about engines and how they work, but I'm honestly looking really forward to working on hydraulics, because just how they work has always amazed me, how liquid can do such powerful things.
I'm in Motive Power Techniques Automotive. I see myself actually being a mechanic and working in the shops and working on cars, and I actually just like seeing how the engine is and how everything's kind of connected, and I think it's just really cool.
I did the grade 9 small engines course, and I really liked that, and then they were talking about the high skills in grade 11 at my auto class, so I just decided to do it. In this class I learned how to take belts off of vehicles, and I never learned that in high school.
After graduating from the program, I honestly hope to just jump right into the field and get an apprenticeship, obviously, and eventually get my red seal.
I'm most surprised that everyone's just more accepting that there's girls that are actually interested in cars and the auto industry, because I honestly thought they might be just a little off-putted maybe,
I really would like to get into Resolute, or even the Lac des Allemands would be pretty great. I've worked there once before as a manhole guard, and I just love the environment that they have.
I had this strange idea to do maybe an all-girls mechanic shop, I thought that'd be cool because I know some girls are very scared of going into like shops and everything like that because they don't want to be ripped off. So I feel like maybe if there's like a woman owner or something like that, or more female mechanics, they feel more comfortable in it. So
Okay, today we're going to be working on a machine in the heavy equipment shop here. We have an R1700G underground scoop tram. So this machine is designed for working in underground mine shafts. So today I'm going to be doing a couple things. I'll be doing a PM checklist on it, and typically anywhere around 250 hours or 500 hours, depending on what the service schedule is for the mine that would possess a machine like this. You'd be doing a service on it to make sure that all the components are in good, safe working order. So I will be completing that inspection and then also plugging in the laptop into the machine and seeing the general condition of the engine and all the related electrical components that this machine has to offer. So first thing I'll notice right off the bat, as soon as I walked in, it's hard not to notice that the back window is definitely smashed up. So I'll make note of that on my checklist. Definitely needs repair, back glass. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do an electrical check and check all my lights. And right off the bat, I can see we got a problem here with one of our headlights here. So left side headlight here is not working. So make note of that. Needs repairs. So we have a wiring harness right here, and you can see from all that stress of twisting back and forth, you can see that all the covering starting to come off on this wiring harness here. That definitely needs to be repaired. So with any new machine, just like in the automotive trade now, computers are definitely taking over the industry, and one of the critical steps that we always have to do is we always have to be able to plug into the machine and see how the vitals of the electrical systems on this particular machine. Okay, so I'm logged into the machine here. I got my 3 different computers, and I got 2 active two active codes right now. If everything was in good health right now, that active codes would be down to 0. Obviously, I got something going on with the machine, so I'm going to see what those are. So thanks for coming to and have a little peek at what we do over here in the heavy equipment shop. We get to play with big toys and have lots of fun. Hope to see you in the future.
Well, hello guys. Today we're going to look at a 2020 F-150, which was donated by Ford of Canada in Pinewood. Today we're going to put a scan tool, which is wirelessly connected to this vehicle, to look at some of the electronics that are available. A lot of people don't realize just how complex cars have become. This particular vehicle has probably upwards of 30 controllers in it that communicate with each other and are used for the control and driving of the vehicle. There is a diagnostic connector under the driver's side of the dash, which I have a piece of hardware connected to right now. I'm going to go in and turn the key on. So for every one of the computers that was in here, these 27 controllers, there's a codes menu, a data menu, a functional test, and various other processes that we could use to diagnose it. So I'm going to look at some engine data and then we'll start up the truck. If the vehicle was having a problem, it would typically illuminate the malfunction indicator light on the dash, and in some cases even flash that light to indicate a more serious problem. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate how a misfire would appear on here. One of these will drop out. So I'm going to disconnect an ignition coil momentarily just so you see it on the scan tool. Okay, so now you can see the effects of killing one of the cylinders. There's a huge dropout in RPM here. Okay, so I hope you appreciate the technology that's in these current vehicles, but you have to understand that the use of a scan tool is covered towards the end of the program, and you have to learn the basics. And in fact, that's what we cover in our Motor Power Techniques program, is basic concepts to give you your foot in the door so that you can work towards working with these high-end, high-tech scan tools and lab scopes. We hope to see you in the future.